Oh, good. Okay. Jared Jensen photo album. Oh, God's sakes. Fine. Loyal to the end.
I remember when he used to tell
But
us
this
he
is the
hated
thing.
doing the
It's
conventions here.
a magical thing. I know plenty of people, plenty of actors who had never done conventions, and they asked me, "What's it like?" Because I've been doing sci-fi stuff for years and genre stuff for years. So I go back to X-Files and early conventions and
Battlestar.
yeah, Battlestar obviously, but Battlestar is actually a lot newer than X-Files. X-Files was '93. Yeah. Are we going to list everything I've ever been in at this point? It's going to take a while. But listen, the point is that this used to be a secret. This used to be the guilty secret of quote unquote fandoms. It's to actually love a show enough to actually show up, or dress as, or participate in, or feel that one is part of. And it's turned into this massive sort of movement of I can't describe it as anything else than people looking after each other. It's just such a wonderful thing to see. And times are really, really tough and really, really difficult. And it lifts my heart every time I see those of you with, anxiety disorders and depression and all the fun other things that we all get medicated or not medicated for. But to see us thrive and to see us be in a community and an area where we're safe and we're comfortable. I mean, you never hear of violent outbreaks. 20 Supernatural fans rob a 7-Eleven. It just doesn't happen.
A bunch of
I told
Castiels.
the story. I think the worst outbreak of violence at San Diego Comic-Con one year was one guy stabbed another guy, but it was with a pencil. And it went about that far into the other guy's hand. And it was over a girl that neither of them had met. And they both cried and are still best friends. And I think that's the most perfect example of rage in something like the Supernatural family. But that's the thing. It's hard to find safe places in the world, and as a parent, I can't encourage you more to be part of what you love. I think it's just a fantastic thing. I've had a very profound year, but I think it's time to turn a page. So, for those of you that are interested in what happened to me, there's a lot of information out there. Read it up. If any of you are concerned or wish to discuss it with me, please feel free to do so. But I think it might be time to put it to rest. Just know that if you're over a certain age, especially if you're a boy, I'm talking to the boys here, and I'm talking to the girls who have boys that don't go to doctors, go to the fucking doctor. I could have saved $2 million and an awful lot of heartache and pain if I just went to the doctor a bit sooner. I'm a very, very lucky boy. Yeah, I love you too. But if it's okay with you, it's time to put that behind me. It's been almost a year, and it's time to get back to just basically being rude to you and abusing you as you ask questions. And it's time to enjoy the love and the happiness that's out there, and if not, we'll manufacture the hell out of it, right? What do you want?
My question is, why did you start playing the drums?
Oh God, somebody has to. I mean, can I be honest with you? You really want to know why?
Yes.
Because, well, my dad lived in a house with a lady whose son ended up being the drummer of Madness, and he was older than I. Woody was older than I, and he played drums, and I wanted to be like him. So I bought my first drum kit off him, and that's what I did. And I mean, envy is as good a reason as any to do anything. The reason I became an actor is because somebody asked me. I don't know. I mean, the telling of stories. I love music. I've always loved music. But I don't care what art is. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter whether you paint, you draw, you write, sing, dance, makes no difference. You do it with your whole heart. It's a fantastic and beautiful thing. I do it because I have to. I love it. Were you at the concert last night? Yeah, well, I had a very good time. And I'm very thankful to the boys and to Stephen especially for letting me play with his toys. And I love Loudon Swain. I've always loved Loudon Swain. And from the beginning of this, back in the early days, we didn't have a show like this. And some of you will remember, but back in like 2015, 2016, it was, the Saturday Night Special did not exist. And it's one of the proudest things that myself and Rob and Rich and the rest of the boys wanted to put something back together to play something for you. And I think if you come to the Saturday night gigs, if you come again, please come to the Saturday night gigs, because it's us trying to give you something back. I mean, we do a lot of things. We sign autographs and you're in lines and you're in queues and you get these little bits of time with us, etc. And I think the concert is us just going, all right, go crazy, enjoy. That's why I play drums. And I love every minute of it. What do you want?
You enjoy my favorite episode of Doctor Who, and I just
I'm in 2 episodes of Doctor Who.
Yes. I have a lot of favorite episodes of Doctor Who, and you enjoy them. And I know you only one too. But they are some of my favorite episodes.
Thank you.
What was it like working on Doctor Who and like with Matt Smith?
They were the nicest people in the world. Talking about actors who had never done a convention, Matt Smith had never done a convention, so what's it like? And not being mean to Matt, because I love Matt. He was like, isn't it a bit like weird? Are they not like, basically the people who dress up as furries and do it? I'm like, you have no idea, son. You have no idea how weird they actually are. But the truth of it was, he'd never done a convention. And some very unkind people had put ideas into his head that there was something derisory about fandoms. I mean, he was always amazing with kids and anyone that was a fan of his. I remember him in the rain, we were shooting, and there was a kid standing out in the rain with his mom, just waiting for a glimpse of the 11th Doctor. And he came out and he went and talked to the kid for like 25, 30 minutes in the rain. It was just magic. It was like, the kid was like this size dressed as him. So he knew the power of the love that we have for the shows that we love. But he'd never done a convention, so I said, go do one. And he's like, all right. I said, you'll have 1,000 people telling you they love you, and then they'll tell you why. And you'll do 1,000 autographs and 1,000 photographs, and you'll be absolutely swamped. I said, you'll be emotionally burned, and then you'll sleep for 3 days. And he went and did it, and he called me and said, yeah, I slept for 3 days. But he loved it, and that's the point. We get it. I said, look, you come from life. He used to be a football player, so he played soccer as a kid. So I said, you come from live stage, you come from live performance. You always saw your audience. I'm looking at you smiling at me right now. I don't get this when I make television. I'm making it with 150 of my friends or 200 of my friends. I get to do this, I get to see you, I get to see all your faces, I get to see faces I've seen before and faces I know and faces I don't know, but I get that reaction, that organic reaction, but don't do that. Nice t-shirt, but I hate the face. I don't mean your face, the face you're making. There you go. Anyway, but yeah, so it's a rather wonderful thing. Yeah, whatever, it's enough. What do you want?
So my question basically is, my mother and I both write fan fiction about supernatural, and I pride myself in character studies, but my mother is, she's much more detail oriented, and she's actually struggled sometimes with writing Crowley, and I've told her the most important thing about writing Crowley is that he's a man of opportunity, but he's also a man of thinking ahead and planning ahead, and I wanted to know, that's actually her right next to you.
Hi, Mom.
And I wanted to know, in your words, what would be the best motivation that you would say is important for writing?
Oh, for God's sakes, do it because you love it.
Yeah, in your
Who
words.
cares? I love you, but who cares? Do it because you want to, do it because you have to. Stop worrying about it. It's your imagination. Don't ask anybody else about it. Follow your heart. Follow your heart. It is everything. There is nothing in life without following your heart and your passion. You know, that's where it's at. Am I right? There you go. Next! I love coming up the back here because these people have no friends. Like hiding up here. You're never going to see me, are you? I love it. I just come up here and torture you. Hey, gorgeous. Hey, you. Told you the concert was going to be good. Yeah, well, here we
all
are.
the way back.
You're sitting in the back row.
Yeah, like all the way back.
Why? Cheap. I'm going back here. Next question.
So, the follow-up, I'm just now getting into Doctor Who, thanks to my wife and girlfriend introducing me. And
Huh?
I'm wondering, if Doctor Who asked you to come back, would you rather come back?
What do you think? Good God, man. What am I, stupid? Of course I go back.
Would you rather be the Doctor?
Oh,
or
for
the
God's
Master?
sakes, write your own fan fiction. I played Canton Everett Delaware III, and I have a coffee. Thank you, Mary. This is Mary who looks after me every time. Mary, as you might know, is a teacher. That's how she's able to deal with a third grader like me. I love you, Mary. She's avoiding me. You didn't run after me, did you? She doesn't usually catch me. I can usually get away from her if I really try. What? I'm drinking a double shot of espresso with a little splash of milk in it, which makes it sort of doppio macchiato. Why? Next question.
Hi, Mark.
That's a good start.
I was at the convention in Jacksonville last year.
Ew.
And somebody asked you your favorite horror movie, and I think you said Alien. So I was wondering what you thought of Alien Romulus that came out. That's fair.
I mean, talking Ridley Scott with Alien, we're talking about planning out a movie where he knew where the alien was at all times, which makes it terrifying to me. I think it was profound because at the age I watched it, I don't think I've been that engrossed by a genre movie in that way. Did you like Alien? I did. It was pretty terrifying, wasn't it? The moment when she gets back into the... I'm sorry, what year did it come out? If you don't want to know the score, don't go down the pub. It's almost like saying, what happens at the end of Supernatural? Which I still haven't seen, so don't tell me. Hey, gorgeous. How you doing? You good? You having a good weekend? Spending all your parents' money? I didn't see you at my autograph table. What's going on? You didn't come say hi. Saying hi now. There we go. Right, next.
Hi, Mark. Speaking of the end of Supernatural, my birthday's on November 5th. And,
What are you, Guy Fawkes?
I was wondering what you do to balance dealing with stress and not getting overwhelmed by everything that's going on in the world and still being informed by with the news and stuff.
How do I not get overwhelmed by what's going on in the world? Well, the only thing I can change is me. Seriously. So, I try to be a reasonably decent human being. And I try to look after my family and I try to be kind. I tend to feel much, much better than if I don't. So that in itself is its own kind of perfection. So, yeah, starts with me. Ends with me too. What else? It's all gone quiet now. I got really heavy. We're getting existential now. We're getting seriously existential. What?
Hi, Mark. My name's Kathleen.
I love that you're a tall girl and you have to bend down to get to the microphone.
Yeah.
I married a tall girl. I get it. I only use it to get the stuff out of the top cupboard.
Yeah, all my short friends need me for that.
I had years with Jared Jensen. My God, my neck was jacked.
It's great at concerts when I can breathe when everyone else is studying.
There you go.
Yeah.
What can I do for you, my darling?
So I don't really have a question, but more so thank you. I'm a licensed therapist, and you yesterday and today talking about the importance of not isolating and finding community and just being able to be vulnerable and open and talking to people and all those things. Those are great things to hear coming from someone of influence and partaking in that. So as a therapist who sits with people one-on-one, I just thank you overall.
Thank you. It's a shitty job. It's a shitty job because a lot of people like the idea of therapy, but either can't or won't use it. I mean, I heard somebody talk to me today and they said, I think I need to talk to somebody about something. I was like, that's the greatest thing you can ever hear is when somebody goes, I have a problem and I think I have a solution, and that's what it's about. I mean, how many people here got diagnosed mental health disorders? Sorry to do this to you, but it's important. Come on, stop lying, put your hands up. The rest of you are lying, I can tell. All right, but look around. Keep your hands up for a second. It's okay, nobody's going to punish you for it. Look around. Don't just look at me, look around. There's a lot of people. Yeah, there's loads of undiagnosed here, we know that. There's also a load of liars, right? Okay, but that's okay, and it doesn't matter. But the point being is what I want you to know is that whatever's going on in your life, you are not alone. And that's what I learned. I was lucky enough to learn that in AA. I was lucky enough to learn, that was my particular path. But I was lucky enough to learn that. And this is a tough old world to be in. And doing it yourself, you know, my AA sponsor was a wonderful writer called Hubert Selby Jr. He wrote Last Exit to Brooklyn and Requiem for a Dream, amongst other things. And a man who described himself as a scream looking for a mouth, which I related to. And he said, the mind is a dangerous neighborhood, don't go in there alone. You know, certainly his mind was a dangerous neighborhood, as is mine. And the truth is that we lack community. We lack the ability to talk. And it was very important for me. I've got some amazing friends who show up and smoke cigars with me, who became, you know, extra mentors for my boys. And you know, I'm not the only person in my family that gets to talk, you know what I mean? You know, my wife has a great therapist, my kids have great therapists, that's how they got through the stuff that I went through a year ago. So they got people to talk to. And there's no shame in it, turn yourself in. I mean, seriously. Sitting on your own and spinning around in a circle until you either kill yourself or somebody else is a really pathetic way to go. It's much more fun to go find out what the hell's going on and blame the right person for it. Way more fun. I mean, oh, it wasn't me that did that. Oh, well, all right, I did that and I did that, I'll fix that. But that's their fault. Good. That's a good start, right? That's the way I look at it. But it's, I don't know, it's all about love. That's all it is, it's all about love. It's nothing else. Nothing else matters. Seriously, it's bizarre. I see so much of it here too. How many of you made friends while you were here? There you go. The rest of you are lying. Well, that's it. I mean, it's just magical. I love it. I truly, truly love it. And then, you know, I just can't believe that I did this silly little show, you know? Silly little show that means so much to me and everyone else, you know? It's just a magical thing. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you for what you do. Keep doing what you do. Hope you've got a good therapist. You'll be fine.
Yeah, she's great.
There you go, that's the way to go. That I like. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go.
Hi, Mark.
Hey.
Question for you. I follow your Instagram, and you actually shared a post from your wife. And I was curious if you wouldn't mind telling us your love story, how you met her.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I got into so much trouble for this. I think Jensen was mad at me. Well, because look, you know, it's my wife had a secret guilty pleasure, and the secret guilty pleasure is she used to go to one convention a year in Vancouver. So she's Australian. She'd go to Vancouver, and she'd go to the convention, the creation convention in Vancouver, and she'd be part of that. And I met her one year, and we were both married to people, and neither of us were happy. And she went to take a photograph of me, and she's 6 foot tall. She says she's 5'10", she's actually 6 feet tall. And she bent down in the photo. And the first thing I said was, stand up. She stands up, oh my God, she's beautiful. And that was it. That was the only time I talked to her. The next year, she was divorced and I was divorced. And she came and took a photograph, and she went to bend down, but she stood up. That was that. The third year, basically, she was there talking. Somebody else was trying to chase her who remained nameless. Nobody you guys know, but somebody who remains nameless was just on her case continuously, and she saw me, and then this girl was hitting on me, and she got really jealous. It was so weird. And she gave me her number and told me to call her. And I was like, she was so far out of my league. I was like, I never called her. It was the weirdest thing. I was like, it didn't occur to me. She didn't the slightest bit interested in me. Beautiful thing. It's a lovely thing. And so she sent me a message going like, how did your son get on with doing whatever, blah, blah. And it became this phone call, and then it became 6 hours a day on the phone, and then it became Zooming each other on a continuous basis, or FaceTime or whatever. And then it became our families going, oh, for God's sakes, get on with it. And then we met up and never parted. It's kind of amazing. It's been 10 years. 10 years. We've been married 9 years. Just recently married 9 years. We've been together 10 years. We've had our ups and downs. She's had her medical stuff, I've had my medical stuff. What was really funny was when I had my incident, she had tickets to go see, I think, I can't remember who it is, one of the famous writer. I remember it. Oh, Patricia Cornwell was doing something. And I think the first thing that came to mind when I had a heart attack was like, oh shit, I'm not going to get to see Patricia Cornwell. I love my wife, she said. We've had a very rough year, but she's doing better. She's kind of amazing. She's kind of brilliant. And then one day she was like, I'll tell you, I don't think I've ever said this, all right? This is a secret just between us. But she was like, okay, I got to stop somewhere because I'm going to run out of the pill. We've been traveling for like 6 months. I was like, how long have you been on the pill? She goes, about 10 years. I went, why don't you give your body a break? She's like, excuse me? I'm like, well, medically the chances you get pregnant are very slim, which they were at the time. They really were. She had polycystic ovaries, all sorts of stuff. She's been very public about her stuff. And 3 months later, we were at San Diego Comic-Con. She had a glass of wine and didn't want it, but she's an Australian. She's like, something's really wrong here. And Warner's had put us up in the hotel. We were going to the Warner's party, and the next thing I know was a pregnancy test. She just threw it at the bed. And I was like... And my exact words were, call your mum. That was a fun day. And that's now a nearly 9-year-old. So yeah, my life is pretty freaking amazing. I don't think any of it would have really been possible without this show. I mean, genuinely, where I was, you know, what my life was before this, and how it's come together, it's just been absolutely magical. I mean, I knew the boys before they were married, I knew the boys before they had kids. It's amazing to see them. I've known them for, you know, decades. It's kind of crazy. My daughter's born on Jensen's birthday, Jensen's daughter's born on my birthday.
Wow.
And Jared has a son called Sheppard. Don't mention that, that's not, I remember walking on set and I'm going like, really? And he's like, well, it wasn't my idea, Jen likes the name. I'm like, well, it means you don't hate me. He goes, how's that? I said, well, you would have vetoed it. He goes, yeah, that's right. So it's kind of fun. What?
Hi, Mark. My name is Zosha.
You're another tall girl.
Yep. And my question is, what's the one good memory from the set of Walker Independence?
What's the which?
Like a good memory from the set
Oh
of...
God, yeah. That was why. Who saw Walker Independence? Jared was my boss, which is the funniest thing ever. I loved that show. I had so much fun on that show. I really wish it wasn't an odd time in television, and I really wish it had been on I wish we were able to get it on a channel like HBO or something, where it had a bit more sort of blood, guts, gunfire, bit of smoking, bit of nudity. Yeah, I just wanted to be nude in the show.
Get on the
Easy! Enough for the peanut gallery. Nearly said something else. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. I wish we'd gone longer. We all do. We're just lovely people. Just really, really lovely people. And I'll give Jared and the rest of them the credit. They picked some incredible actors to work with. I had so much fun with Katie. That was like, absolutely, they're my favorite person. So I got to do a lot of fun stuff with them. So, what?
So first of all, my husband said to tell you you have the best line in Doctor Who ever.
I do? Which one?
Yes, he is.
Which one?
Yes, he is.
Oh God, that was brilliant. Does anyone see my Who episodes? Well, the weird thing about the Who episodes is that Moffat said we went all the way to America to get an Englishman to play an American on British television, which I thought was funny. But he didn't think anybody American would want to play a gay FBI agent, because the backstory of Canton Everett, Delaware, is that he was kicked out of the FBI for wanting to marry somebody. And the joke being is that him and Nixon are standing in the Oval Office, and Nixon says, "This person you wanted to marry, black?" I went, "Yes." And he goes, "Well, I think, he goes, time to change," or whatever. And I'm like, "He is." And somebody gave me that on a t-shirt, and it's my favorite t-shirt. It's me and Stuart as Nixon. He looks exactly like Nixon. It's creepy. With "Yes, he is." And I was like, a little bit of solidarity there. I thought it was fun. But Moffat said something brilliant about it, which he said he was, with all due respect to Barham and a lot of the stuff that had come before, he said in the publication, he said he was kind of embarrassed that the quote-unquote gay characters that he had created did not represent his gay friends. He said they were a little too stereotypical in some ways. And he said that Canton was more akin to those people he knew, but in that situation in 1969, which I thought was fascinating. So it was somebody whose entire character was shaped by the fact, and their situation was entirely shaped by the fact that they were gay in a particular era at a particular time. But in a gay interracial relationship in 1969 with the FBI, kind of interesting. But that he felt it more represented a less stereotypical view of homosexuality than he had done before. So I thought I was actually quite proud of. I thought it was right, because it didn't actually matter. It had no bearing at all. It only had a bearing on the circumstances, like his business is his business. Plus, I got to have a bigger on the inside moment, travel on the TARDIS and say, "Doctor Who." Which, how many people have been able to do that? I mean, it's pretty cool. I had a lovely time on that. What do you want?
how did it feel to look at yourself on TV after you filmed Supernatural and be like, hold on, that's me up there?
Is that the first time I've ever watched myself was on Supernatural?
Well, no.
You know I'm old,
Supernatural
right? I've been doing this a really long time.
You are the king of hell right now. How did it feel?
No, I'm not.
Well, you may be. I might as well. The fan.
This is all in your head.
No, answer the question.
Okay. Good luck with that. We got some bravery here, just what I like for breakfast. I mean, watching myself. You know what's fun about watching yourself? Is that when you try to do something and you're hoping that it's... Because look, you don't just shoot something and make something and that's what it is. It has post-production, it gets edited, it's got music, it's got all these amazing things it has to go through to create. You're not even listening, you're just talking to your friends over there. Shut up. But when you make television, it's like what you see is not what you've made. You see, my favorite thing ever is, you remember the date between Crowley and Sheriff Jody Mills, right? That is the meanest thing I've ever seen, because the audience, of course, knows who Crowley is, but Sheriff Mills doesn't. So you lot are all going, whatever, and I'm just sitting there being kind of wonderfully slimy and holding her hand, breaking her heart. What? She's still bitter? Really? She would have decked me? Well, if she knew who I was, she'd have shot me. But, I mean, it was just wonderful. But the fun part about that scene is the phone rings in the middle, right? You're on set, the phone rings. And it doesn't go ring, ring. It's just it's Robin actually saying ring, ring. So you just hear ring, ring. And I thought it'd be funny to say, this is the king. So I did. And that stayed in. And it wasn't until I saw it at the end that I had a ringtone. I was like, what? And you remember what my ringtone was? I like big butts and I can't like that. And I'm like, because it's not actually on the phone, it doesn't register on me, which works beautifully as I don't care. Because all I actually heard was ring, ring. And it's like, I like big butts and I can't. This is the king. Which is hysterical. And then they did what's called an insert shot, which I wasn't there. And it's a hand and a phone. And on the phone is the caller ID. And the caller ID, which made me blow snot out of my nose, is not Moose.
Yes!
So we've gone from giraffe, mop-headed lumberjack, gigantor, jolly green, to Moose, which worked. Where's your moose? Started that whole thing. To now, not Moose. And then we're going to have squirrel, and we're going to have rest or something. Somebody here gave me a wonderful sheet of paper of every time I said moose. It's a head count of all the offensive names that I gave them and how many times I've said it.
Oh my gosh.
I was laughing so hard. It's brilliant. So yeah, I watch everything. I'm a director and an editor, so I watch and I like to see how it's turned out. But yeah, that's where you find the fun, is when it's finished. What?
Hi Mark, I'm Debbie. I'm actually asking this question on behalf of my seatmate who, it's a great question, which is
why is your seatmate not getting up?
Row D, just there to your left.
Where?
Row D.
Don't make me count.
Well,
Where, you?
Or throw back.
Who? Which person are you asking this for?
Redhead, Brenda.
Where?
On your left.
Put your hand up.
On your left.
You? You're too bloody lazy to get up and ask the question. What's wrong with you?
Too shy.
Too shy? Okay.
Well, you
The question is I want to know how you feel Crowley would have helped Sam and Dean had he been there when Jack came into the picture.
Who's Jack? Who? I think I was dead at that point.
That's the point.
What show is this? I don't know. You'd have to write your own fanfiction. You know that? Does that make sense? What do you think I'd do? I think you get the feeling that I would have helped.
I do.
You did?
Yeah.
See, because you look at Crowley as a good guy. Yeah. I killed less people than the bloody Winchesters! I ran hell and I killed less people than the bloody Winchesters!
Stand in
I made them stand in line, yes, 6 billion and one. You do realize that when Ben Edlund wrote that episode and we had the queue in hell, and it just, you know, then they take a number and it was like 6 billion and one, it just got worse. That I had to go to Ben and go, you do realize they're going to think this is a convention line. He's like, I never thought of that. Hey you, if I down low, you're quick. Yeah, I mean, God, I love the show. The show is so much fun. It is cool.
I hope when
Sun's sitting out here. Good view. Next.
Hey Mark, this is Diane.
Hi, Diane.
I spent a month in the UK this summer.
You poor thing.
I had.
Have you dried out yet?
Yes. It only rained 3 days.
Well, that worked out.
I hate you.
Out of 4? Go on.
No, out of 32.
Go on, what?
So
I think everybody did.
I tried a whole lot of different foods over there. What is your favorite and your least favorite English foods?
I live in Los Angeles, California. My passport says nationality United States of America.
Yeah, well, you were born in England,
Oh,
so...
beautiful.
Oh, shit. Okay, I gotta go.